Welcome to WEFTEC Live. I'm Travis Loop, the host. Joined for this conversation by two people. I have Kaushal Trivedi. He is Business Development Manager at Teledyne ISCO. And Anna Mehrotra. She is Director of the Wastewater Surveillance Program for the Water Environment Federation. Thank you both so much for being here. We have this device here on the table with us. This is an autosampler. What is an autosampler and how does it work?
So autosampler is basically taking water sample automatically without any human intervention. So human errors are avoided here and you can maintain sample integrity. Sample is much more accurate, source representative and consistent. So that's why you can have a better analysis from those samplers. So that's basically an autosampler. And samples can be taken based on time or based on event. For WBE, mainly it was done either on time or flow as an event. And in case of time-based sampling, every certain time, certain amount of samples volumes are taken. So for an example, every 15 minute, 250 milliliter samples were taken on time base. So it continuously taking for 24 hours, and then you go and collect the samples and kind of thing, take it to the lab. In case of flow-based sampling, you can take more sample when there is a high flow rate. For an example, in the morning where everybody using toilets and bathrooms, you want to take more sample to get more consistent result. So at that time, you take a flow-based sampling and you can collect more samples. There are different type of samplers available, portable samplers, portable refrigerated sampler, and permanent refrigerated sampler. For this program, it was used portable sampler and permanent sampler for this program. So I brought an example of a portable sampler just to show you what kind of...
Let's take a look here.
Yeah. So here, this is a kind of a sampler here. It's a small, it can go inside the manhole cover. So it's a small in diameter. There's a top handle is there. You can carry around that sampler. There is a controller here which you can program based on time and based on event based, whatever way you want to do it. And once the sample is collected, it gets discharged into the bottle like this. So it goes into this bottle for 24 hours and you can collect. That is called composite sampling. Now you also have a choice of multiple bottles, and that you can take every hour in a different bottle. So it's a sequential sample. So different kind of sample, but mainly for this program, single bottle composite 24 hours it was used.
Great. Thank you for showing that to us, Kaushal. Now, I know for the past year, the Water Environment Federation has worked with this autosampler program. What is this program?
So, as you know, Travis, WEF has a 5-year cooperative agreement with the CDC to really help them get the National Wastewater Surveillance System, or NEWS, even more established. And we do all sorts of fun activities as part of our cooperative agreement. One of them that we did in the year we just finished up was hand out for free 226 autosamplers. As Kaushal mentioned, many of them were the portable autosamplers, but some were the refrigerated permanent autosamplers. So these were provided at no cost, and we provided them to small wastewater utilities. So it was really fun to give them out.
And Kaushal, what was Teledyne ISCO's role in this program?
So CDC and WEF jointly, they put a very good efforts in this surveillance program, and we try to make sure that the program is successful. And we made some dedicated efforts for this program. So starting with selections of what configuration is required for this sampling, what kind of parts are required, selection of the parts basically. And then we also created a good dedicated manual. We tailor all our manuals specific to this program, so that because there are many users, the first time user, so they don't know and we do not want to confuse. So we change our manuals to make specific to this program. And after we ship all the sampler, we have conducted several training sessions just to make sure that the user can use the sampler in a right way and a proper way and collect the sample the way the program was required. So that's entire things we have done it for this program.
Okay. Well, Anna, you mentioned 226 of these auto samplers went out to small utilities. That's incredible. Talk a little bit more about the impact that the program had. How did it go? What was kind of the results of all of those efforts?
Sure. I mean, the idea really was that a composite sample that you can take with an auto sampler is the best sort of sample for wastewater-based surveillance. So that was the motivation behind handing out 226 of these to small utilities. That said, we handed them out with really no strings attached. It was more that it's very common that a small utility might not have the budget to purchase a new auto sampler or even have an auto sampler at their influence. And so the impact really has been getting this equipment in the hands of small utilities so they can use it for not just potentially wastewater-based surveillance sampling, but also permit compliance sampling, sampling for process control. And so we've really heard just a lot of thank you for helping us out, which has been really satisfying.
And just from your perspective, Kaushal, how has it gone? What's it been like for Teledyne ISCO to be part of this program?
We are very thankful and proud of be part of this program, and we have received very good feedback also from our customers, for the users. During the training session, we made it interactive, so in case they have any questions, they can ask. So it is very grateful that we could help in this program to WEF and CDC.
I'd like to try to dive in a little deeper to what we heard back from utilities. Many of them haven't done auto sampling, I guess, before, these smaller utilities.
Right.
So what was heard back from them? What did they say?
Just that, it was their intention to buy something like this for a long time and they hadn't had a chance to do it, or they had an auto sampler that was very old and not working properly, and so this will give them the ability to have a new piece of equipment. So.
And what about them participating in this national wastewater surveillance program at a time when there is a pandemic happening, when there's a lot of attention on the ability for utilities to work with public health officials to get better data and knowledge? What was the feedback from utilities of being part of that kind of effort?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised actually at how many utilities wanted to be connected to their local health departments or their state health departments to find out how they could participate in the National Wastewater Surveillance System, and just connecting those dots, getting them talking to the right people so that they can be brought into news.
All right, so I'm really curious about what's next. This is going to continue on, I think. What's coming up next? What are the plans for the next year?
I could take that one. We've got a lot. We've got a lot, cooking up for our third year of our cooperative agreement, and wide range of activities that will include a much pared down version of this free auto sampler program. But other things as well, pilot testing of rapid testing technologies, running a series of workshops to kind of tackle the problem of how do you sustainably engage wastewater utilities in wastewater surveillance programs when it's not something that's in their kind of core line of duties in a given day. So yeah, we've got a lot in the hopper, so to speak.
Absolutely. And I guess I'm curious about the auto sampling. When a utility would use this, and then what happens with the information they get? What are they doing with the information that comes from this?
So basically, the information that is sample that is collected are sent to the labs, and whatever the analysis comes, that information goes back to public health department, and public health department can take necessary control measure. As an example, either quarantine or restaurant shutdown or public place shutdowns, or some that kind of a control measure they can take. It can be a mass mandatory kind of thing. So that kind of control measure public health department. So this is helping that way, and the good thing is that basically you can detect the prevalence of virus at least 7 to 10 days in advance than the clinical testing. So that's why it allows public health to take some necessary actions well ahead of the time before it spread too much in the community.
And then so that the people of that utility will hear back about the prevalence or presence of COVID virus in their wastewater. So they're learning as well.
Yeah, I would say it's more about the trends in the disease in the community, not so much the exact prevalence. And we've talked a lot about COVID and SARS-CoV-2, but this is being applied to many, many other pathogens. Monkeypox virus is one that can be detected in wastewater and is being added to news as we speak. And influenza A, influenza B, respiratory syncytial virus, Candida auris, which you may not know about, but it's a really nasty fungal infection that can be detected in wastewater. There's a whole antibiotic-resistant genes that cause allow bacteria to be resistant to antibiotics. So antibiotic resistance genes, that's another one. So there's a lot, we're just scratching the surface. And so, building the capability to take these sorts of samples at a whole wide range of utilities of different sizes is going to be really important for, equitably applying the wastewater surveillance to the U.S. population. So
a lot of universities, I will add to that, a lot of universities have also done a detailed study on demographic studies, and they are doing that, the population with elderly peoples or populations with, Native Americans, how everything is like, what reaction time is or how this program helps. They have done a very good demographic study also.
And you use the word capability, and so the wastewater's capability is really the sector's capability is really being built out right now.
Yeah.
It was spurred by COVID and by the pandemic, but now utilities are putting these tools in place. Public health departments are connecting, building relationships, and so this is going to be a tool that's used going forward in a variety of ways.
Absolutely, and if you think about, this is just one example of public health surveillance, right, which is a huge umbrella term that includes all different types of systems and approaches to kind of tracking disease. Wastewater surveillance is sort of the newest addition to public health surveillance. And the CDC was able to set up a national system which now has 1,200 sites, sampling locations in news in about 2 years, which is pretty incredible. And we'll be able to kind of pivot pretty quickly to the next, disease of concern. So yes, absolutely. Building this capability is key.
And lastly, Kaushal, what lessons maybe have you all learned at Teledyne ISCO from being in this, both people using your technology and equipment and also being part of a larger effort? Just kind of what lessons have you learned from it?
I think there are we learned that, there are a lot of opportunities are coming this way, but, we have to, make some time good tailored product for, kind of thing like this is going to expand and, PFAS, forever chemicals, but there is very stringent sampling is required. So we may have to, invest in the development so that we can make it dedicated to that certain program. So based on some, wastewater disease surveillance program, standard sampler can be used, but something is required for the dedicated.
Fantastic. Well, Kaushal and Anna, thank you both very much for coming on WEFTEC Live to talk about autosamplers, wastewater-based disease surveillance. It's certainly a hot topic in water. Thank you both for the information.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.